Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We're here to plug you into the world of professional wrestling. I'm Fisher, and as always, I'm here with Keeney and Krusty.
Hey guys.
Hey everyone.
Today we are talking about WWE. We've recorded our AEW Weekly podcast. So if you haven't listened to that yet, go and listen to that on our podcast network or on our YouTube channel if you're watching on there. Like and subscribe, Recharge Wrestling, and find all our stuff there. We're going to start this week with a little bit of breaking news from today. Literally, again, we had this last week where some news broke about 10 minutes before we went on air. Yeah. And this has happened again, so that's nice. Normally, it used to be after. I remember the amount of times we had releases, like when we went off. But today, a little bit of breaking news, nothing major, but Pat McAfee has just apparently signed a long-term deal with WWE, which is great news. Any thoughts on that, guys?
No surprise, really. I didn't really know the circumstances of his contract anyway, but I mean, after Money in the Bank, he was seen hanging out with the McMahons and Triple H. I mean, he's well in there, isn't he? We know they're hot on him because he's got a match at SummerSlam, and to have a match at WrestleMania and then SummerSlam.
And Vince's interview on his channel that he did, Vince doesn't do that without trusting the person completely.
Yeah, so he's big on McAfee, and so he should be. I mean, he's brilliant. He's
and I was going to ask you guys, what do you think he's going to have more in his contract? Because his contract, obviously, maybe before was more as a commentator. Do you think he's going to have a contract now where he's more of a performer, does more like in-ring work, maybe promos, things like that as well, involvement on the show, or do you think it's going to be the same? Or?
I don't know. I think he's in a good role right now, commentator, and then wrestles once or twice a year in these big matches. I think that's perfect. I don't think I want him in the ring full time.
No, I'm just curious as to whether what they've done, because he might have wanted to go for more. They might have gone, we'll do it. But
I think they might have it on like a loose contract. Like if they think it works, they'll get him in the ring if he feels fit enough. Something I wouldn't mind seeing. You sometimes get Michael Cole doing interviews in the ring. I'd maybe prefer switching him out and putting Pat in for some.
Yeah,
I think it'd be quite cool, especially if you add some comedic areas.
Yeah, no, it could be interesting, but it's great news.
It's great news. I think I said to you guys the other day, there was a clip going around on WWE socials about the showing Michael Cole and Pat McAfee's commentary to Liv Morgan winning Money in the Bank and then cashing in.
That was brilliant.
And I just think Pat McAfee has made Michael Cole better as well by being there. Michael Cole said himself, he's given him like a new lease of life. Like his commentary's a lot more.
It must be hard to not get hyped up next to Pat McAfee. He's like got such energy about him. It must be hard to not be hyped around him at the whole time.
I just think he's added a much needed boost to the commentary, where it's like you say, the energy behind it, the passion behind it. And I think the fact as well, I think he doesn't get told a lot of what's happening. So he actually reacts to it like a fan would. Obviously Michael Cole is knows everything that's going on.
Well, no, I think I heard somewhere that Michael Cole doesn't like to be told things too much in advance. He likes to like react organically.
He knows some stuff, but he doesn't know. I don't think he knows absolutely everything that happens. Yeah, but I think Pat just literally, from what he said on his radio show, he turns up to work, doesn't really speak to Vince or anything before, literally goes to speak to Michael Cole and then goes down to the ring. Yeah, and I think that's what happens. And he just works with Michael Cole most of the time. And I think it works really well for them. So, whatever they're doing, keep it up.
Yep, keep it up. No, Pat McAfee. It's nice that Krusty's dressed as Pat McAfee today.
I was thinking
in honor of the news.
In a more like 90s Vince McMahon vest style when he walks
If
down.
Only I could do the pectoral movements that Big Vin did when he went through his stage in the gym. But we also have another wrestler on the show today. Fisher's come dressed as Lacey Evans.
I was thinking Sergeant Slaughter.
I was going to say Sergeant Slaughter's probably better, closer.
No, we'll go for Lacey Evans.
Yeah. Don't normally wear this kind of top, but
he's had to cut a nice bit out of the middle for us.
Yeah. All right, shall we get into the week?
He's looking a little bit like Michael Cole.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take that.
There you go. You've got a trio of WWE, past and present.
I'll take that. I'll wear my suit next time. So I'm proper Michael Cole.
So
yeah, let's start with SmackDown.
yeah, let's talk about Pat McAfee's show.
Yeah, is that we basically covered a lot of this on our Money in the Bank preview, review pod. So if you haven't listened to that or watched it on YouTube, go check it out. It's all your podcast networks and on our YouTube channel. Well, we discussed, because obviously SmackDown was just a go-home show for Money in the Bank. So 90% of the segments we have already crossed off, but there's two that I've got here that we haven't mentioned yet. And I think we should start with the one that we've been maybe anticipating the most, the Maximum Male Models from Max Dupree. Fisher, what did you think of this? This was your skid mark last week.
Yeah, it was my skid mark because they kept delaying it. And now we finally delivered it. And I said last week that I think it will end up being Mason Mansour. But it wasn't. It was Marseille and Mansoir, wasn't it?
Yes.
I love what they've done with the names, to be honest. I think that's a really clever way to sort of change the names subtly, but make them sound fancy. So I actually really like that. I didn't know what to make of this segment when I was watching it. Honestly, I was like, am I watching a wrestling show right now?
It was a bit too long, wasn't it?
It was quite long.
I don't mind him standing there and talking about, like it's a fashion show, but it went on for so long. I got bored of. I was like, oh my god, come on! Like, I'm interested to see what they're going to be like.
Did it titillate your juices though? Your guilty pleasures?
My juices were titillated for a while, and then they dried up a bit as it went on a bit too long.
I kind of with you. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued to see where it goes and how it translates into a wrestling gimmick, because it looks like next week it said they're doing tennis wear modeling. I don't know where it's going. I honestly don't. But I back Max Dupree to pull this off, and I thought Mansour actually really suited this when he came out. Such a changing gimmick from his sort of babyface gimmick that he had before. And really, he's only
space has transformed from like this scary guy
think
behind
they
the
both
mask.
look pretty mad, to be fair. It's incredible how they.
Yeah, but both of them. Yeah, both of them. But I think Mansoir looked really natural doing it. Like he looked like this is what he was meant to be doing all along. It's an odd gimmick, but do you know what? It's something different.
It's different, and as you say, we know Dupree, aka LA Knight, is very talented. If anyone can make this work, he can, and it'd be great if all three of them make it work, and we get to see three new faces on the roster, especially on SmackDown, because it is needed, isn't it? Don't know how they're going to play this though. Are they heel? Are they face?
I think there's got to be a heel gimmick. I don't think this can be a babyface gimmick.
Yeah.
No. It got booed, and I don't know if it was getting booed because they're heels or because people didn't like it. I think it was because people didn't like it. But I mean, this was such a device. This is one of those angles that is so divisive. I saw some people saying this is amazing. This is like one of the best things I've seen. And then I was like in ages, because it was hilarious. And Pat McAfee and Michael Cole trying not to laugh during it was good. And then I saw some people that were just like, how is this wrestling? Get it off my TV. Like, it really divides opinion. But my argument to the people who say it's not wrestling, it's sports entertainment anyway. So
yeah, you can't say what is this with WWE. It's just not.
Because it's such a variety.
It's always like this, isn't it? I mean,
it feels like a Vince McMahon style gimmick, doesn't it? It's not crazy in WWE's world, this gimmick. But yeah, I'm with you, Fish. I'm intrigued to see what they do in ring.
I'm just interested to see how it translates. Who they're going to feud with? Like, who on earth are they going to feud with? And how's that going to work? Are they going to be Are they going to walk down the catwalk and then suddenly be really aggressive, like as heels? And then I'm just intrigued to see where it goes, to be honest.
And if they had any more, I guess, because he kind of mentioned my first clients. He didn't say my only clients. So
WWE doesn't like doing a huge group, so I don't see it being too many. But...
No, and if it is huge, it will just get broken up quickly, because that's what they do with.
They'll just get someone to beat up Max Dupree.
To be honest, there's not many other people. There's not many people other on SmackDown unless they do an NXT call-ups and put some NXT people in it.
Yeah,
there's not really many other people.
We've seen this week. I think the brand split is slowly but surely going away as we.
Yeah, Yeah.
There is it's a very mild brand split. Now I know we had a lot on this SmackDown because of Money in the Bank, but also on Raw, a lot of SmackDown superstars appeared.
More than I was expecting, yeah, at least
Inexplicably as well. Like if you can give a reason for it, but yeah, and that's a side note really. Four superstars that are on SmackDown are the Viking Raiders, or should I say the new and vicious Viking Raiders and the New Day. I mean, first of all, what do you make of them being called the new and vicious Viking Raiders?
I guess it distinguishes as making it clear from their old act, but we don't need that to me. But
I don't think that's going to last very long. That long
vicious
name.
They like to add these things. I've noticed recently they're doing that quite a lot. They were doing it with Skyscraping Shanky and all these different little.
Yeah, well, this is what Vince likes. He likes people to have like a word to describe them, and vicious Viking Raiders. I guess it works in that regard.
I really like the new look and the way they're presented, though.
Yeah, I much prefer it. It doesn't make sense to have Vikings being babyface. It just doesn't. They're very aggressive in ring, which I think suits them much better.
Yeah, I think they suit heels more.
Having them destroy people is just cool. I think it'd be really, really good.
Yeah, and we should have them go over New Day in this feud, realistically, if you want to make anything of them.
I hope so.
They kind of have to. If they lose to New Day here, then back to square one, aren't they? Really?
Definitely. New Day don't need to win.
No, they don't. Is that all from SmackDown that wasn't Money in the Bank related?
I think there was one or two other little things, but
I've got nothing else.
Fax Fisher's straight on it.
Fax Fisher's got all of the
He's got the script of SmackDown in front of him.
He's got the toilet schedule.
No, I just thought the Sonya Deville Adam Pearce segment was a bit interesting. She slapped him around the face and told him. And I mentioned on the Money in the Bank pod that could we see like Pearce maybe turn heel here and do some either like a double turn or him.
It'd be interesting. We haven't seen apart from the story of Sonya going away with herself a little bit. We haven't seen a good GM story in a long time. If you think back to the Attitude Era, the GMs were involved heavily, and it was really good. I used to really enjoy it. So it would be I think
a few years ago, obviously they did. You said the Attitude Era. Obviously, the big one from the last few years was the Yes Movement storyline was all based on Triple H and Stephanie and the Authority.
Yes.
But since that, they've kind of done away with GMs. And obviously, they had McFoley, they had Constable Corbin, they had Kurt Angle.
Corbin was GM.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
They have had a few, but like you say,
I did say good
ones.
Remember good,
none of them were particularly good. I think McFoley was okay for a while.
He got more in very quickly.
Not great though, was he? I mean, I don't mind about GM storylines too much. I just want there to be a GM. So Adam Pearce controlling both. Not really a fan of that because why does he care who goes to Raw, who goes to SmackDown? It's kind of a bit weird. Like when it gets to the draft, I feel like you need GMs or someone to be picking.
Perfect, wasn't it? That was perfect.
Yeah, and what you want is a GM to not get involved when there's stuff that needs to be settled, and maybe have one storyline a year where they get involved, but not involved all the time.
Yeah.
Regal was perfect. Regal.
I just thought it was interesting with him. Obviously, the involvement of Theory in Money in the Bank.
That's what I'm saying. Come out and something around that.
And then the stuff of Sonya, and I'm thinking, are they going with a direction here where Pearce is finally starting to sort of turn heel or get more involved?
I mean, Pearce.
I'm not sure.
Pearce is good. He is good. I quite like him being an authority figure. I'd have been happy if he took one, Sonya took the other, if that's what they were going to go down the line of, or. Ideally we'd have like a Triple H or someone, Shawn Michaels, I don't know, someone.
I wouldn't mind Triple H coming back on as an on-screen character, to be fair.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that, but it also depends on his health, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's back working now.
Well, the fact he's taken his role, I think
he's back working. So I mean, he's not going to take bumps or anything, I don't think.
No.
But,
what they're like though, they can't help it.
Yeah, you wait till we get to Mania and Cody and Triple H want to have a match.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Ric Flair's having his last match and that outside of WWE.
Yeah, but Ric Flair is mental.
I mean, he nearly died and he's still going. Literally, they have to pretty much tell the Undertaker to stop. A lot of them they can't. They love it. They just absolutely love it. It's an addiction. I don't think there was a lot else. Like you say, most of the rest of the show was about Money in the Bank. I didn't like the way they did the Battle Royal, and then did Happy Corbin just didn't get his spot in it, and then they did the Fatal 4-Way. But I mentioned that on the pod. And yeah, that was, I think, about it. Really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gunter only had a video package on this show after beating, but he was on Raw. So at the time, I was a bit like, oh, that's a bit of a shame after his match with Ricochet. We were saying, hopefully he'll be on doing something significant, and he didn't do a lot, but then he was on Raw. So
yeah, exactly. Should we go to Raw then?
Yeah.
We might as well start with Gunter. We're on Gunter. So I mentioned people inexplicably being. I don't really get why he was on Raw here. It's a bit weird.
I love this segment though.
Yeah, I don't mind. It was.
I think that's why,
fine.
because it was 4th of July.
Yeah, they wanted a big foreign
Independence
heel.
Day.
Yeah.
And Gunter
To
is that
wind people
there.
up.
That is exactly. I mean, R-Truth was dressed up, and it's the perfect person to
I
put him
thought
against as
R-Truth
well.
was awesome in this.
R-Truth is great. I know he doesn't like wrestle much, but his role, what he does in his role, he's really good at. And he comes in, he cuts a bit of a promo. He says some funny stuff, doesn't he? He was on about the film Independence Day, wasn't he? And he was putting over like Will Smith.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
I can't remember who else is in the film, but yeah, it was that was funny. And then Gunter, I was surprised when Gunter's music hit and Ludwig Kaiser come out. I was like, okay, cool. And then he just beat him up. I love stuff like that. Felt very old. It felt like a very old school segment. Where they always do these patriotic holiday style segments, and then you get like the foreign heel guy come and just destroy them and ruin it.
Yeah, I guess it's just a one-off segment, isn't it? It's
And they don't really have anyone that fits that on. The only other person on Raw that I could think of, and I think he's injured at the moment, is Kevin Owens, being Canadian. Could have come in and done something. So yeah, really, and he's would it have been as effective? Because he's not maybe not as dominant. Don't know. I think Gunter doing it was perfect.
Yeah, no, fair enough. We opened Raw with having like a big street party or something about the 4th of July, which resulted in a hot dog eating contest between Dawkins, Otis, and Tozawa, which Tozawa won. And there was a lot of people there, mostly jokes, realistically. Omos was...
Riddle was there.
Was a bit serious. But Riddle was kind of a jokey kind of character. The Street Profits, Alpha Academy, Tozawa, all these guys. And
because there was a few segments throughout the night, wasn't there?
There was, and it all kind of culminated in a 6-man tag. Lashley and the Profits against Theory and Alpha Academy, which was a fine match. There's actually a nice spot in there where Lashley and Montez Ford did that, holding them up in the.
Oh, that was awesome.
In the
good showcase for the Profits. They felt on a similar level here to Lashley.
Yeah, to see Ford match Lashley's strength there was quite impressive.
Yeah, and then in Dawkins as well did another dive to the outside, and
the Profits
absolutely wiped out Theory as well on the outside. And I was like, Dawkins is definitely trying to prove a point, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, they're on fire at the moment, Profits. They're really on fire.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying them.
But really, the real talking point of this is Otis being sick in the ring.
Well, it was kind of obvious after what his hot dog thing.
He also took a big old spear to the belly.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan of that, but it's how it is what it is. It's fine. I don't really
predictable.
I don't really want to see people being sick as a thing.
No, it's a bit disgusting.
It's not really what I enjoy, but I guess it fits Otis's character a little bit. One thing I did randomly enjoy in the hot dog eating contest was when it had Dawkins versus Otis now 24-23, and then Tozawa randomly won with 28, and that really popped me for some reason. I don't know why, but I like that bit. But the match itself, this bit I liked the showcase for the Profits and for Lashley. Yeah, I didn't like it's being sick thing. I mean, why would you?
We also got kind of before this, we got Theory and approached Lashley. Thought this might have been done after Money in the Bank, but we're getting another match at SummerSlam. Interestingly, we have a US title match at SummerSlam where Theory's going to try and win it back. And I think we all predicted Cena and Theory at SummerSlam. So are you surprised that he's back in for the US title?
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed by that, actually. Because I said on the Money in the Bank show that I think, now that Lashley's got the championship, he's got the Money in the Bank. There's no point in them continuing the feud, and yet they're continuing it. So, yeah, I don't really.
I could maybe go into my skid mark here.
Oh, okay. I haven't even thought.
It's
about
not reference. It isn't references, but a point you just made about you're not sure why they're having to do this again. And I honestly believe, and this is my skid mark, it's because you don't have Lesnar and Reigns on the show. They're like, well, you can't have Theory teasing his Money in the Bank around the main title if the main title's not there. So they need Lashley and their other draw, which is Theory, because he's getting some serious heat while Lesnar's on this like real good babyface run to sort of take the attention off of that. But I hadn't really thought about it whilst I was watching Raw. I wasn't too bothered because it was quite a good show overall. But I was thinking it's wrong again that you have less than a month, quite a lot less than a month. It's 3 weeks till SummerSlam, and you don't have Money in the Bank's done now, but you haven't seen your main title feud start to heat up. Are they just going to leave them off TV to the week before and then go?
I reckon they might leave off TV until SummerSlam.
I've seen Roman apparently he's meant to be on SmackDown on Friday. Roman is. I don't know whether Brock. I don't know whether Brock will be there. But I reckon Brock will be there as well. But what were you saying about? I'm confused. What point you were making about the title thing, because they have got the title match on the show. But did you mean they're just not?
I mean they don't have the title for Theory to walk around.
Oh, I see what you mean. On the weekly show,
the Universal title. So we're saying where's he going to go? So
yes,
to make that Money in the Bank relevant, you need it around
he can't tease
title.
it, can he? On weekly TV, so he's literally waiting.
Yeah, waiting for them to come back. So
I see what you mean now.
My skid mark is that Brock and Reigns aren't on the show with such a little time to go and build to arguably their second biggest show of the year. Bit of a toss-up between that and Royal Rumble, isn't it? But
yeah,
you need that build. It's great he came back and was thrown in, but we need that to start to build. If you're going to have Theory cash in at some point, you need him to actually use it. Otherwise, you've wasted the cash in, really, if he just comes out of nowhere and he's not seen anybody.
I don't think they can afford to waste it of how they've wasted in previous years. No. The last couple of years, I think the Money Bank's been wasted on the men's side, so they need to get this one right. But yeah,
I gave you a 2 for 1 there on my Theory and my Theory Lashley explanation and a skid mark all in one.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. That's what we like to hear. We got some movement in the women's division. Maybe a bit surprised to see Liv on the show because I'm assuming she's now a SmackDown superstar, but I said before that doesn't really matter too much.
She is still a Raw. Thing is, it's like Big E last year. He was a Raw superstar. He cashed in on the SmackDown.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. Sorry, he was SmackDown. He cashed in Raw, so he still appeared on because he's drafted to that brand. So technically, I think she will be on SmackDown going forward. But I wasn't surprised to see her on this show. I think it made sense for her to be there.
Were you surprised to see Carmella and Natalia be the two to come out and like challenge her?
Well, Carmella, no, because of I guess they were kind of setting up the Raw match in the one go and they were setting the tag match up. And obviously she attacked Bianca. So I thought that feud was continuing. Natalia, I was a little bit surprised by because I didn't expect her to be on Raw, obviously. I actually thought we might not get any interruptions here and then we might get someone on SmackDown to set up her feud. But obviously they wanted to do... I quite like the fact they did the two champions teaming up against Carmella and Natalia, actually. But
I guess they can't do Liv and Natalia at SummerSlam. That doesn't feel big enough. So it's Natalia just a little side story, and then we get Charlotte or Bayley or whoever.
I think Charlotte will be back. Yeah, I think it'll be Charlotte. Maybe it'll be triple threat or something. Who knows? That would be a good way to do it because then you could have Natalia take the pin from Liv and Charlotte doesn't lose, right? So, because I don't think Charlotte is going to. I mean, I would just have Liv pin Charlotte, but Charlotte's first match back, I can see her not taking a pinfall. So maybe you set up something like a triple threat. That would be all right. And then you can have Natalya, or even a 4-way. You could throw Ronda back in if she's there, and you could have a fatal 4-way for the SmackDown Women's title.
Yeah. Do we know what's happening with Ronda? Is there any?
I haven't heard anything. And you'd think SummerSlam being the size show it is, you'd think she'd want to be on that show, but I'm not sure. She might not.
I mean, nothing said that she won't be here though. Like, you know, there's been nothing to say she won't be on SmackDown on Friday.
No.
I think we've all just jumped to conclusions.
Haven't we?
Yeah. And maybe she'll be there on Friday.
Yeah, she may well be. I mean, she may well end up. Again, it could be a triple threat with her in it. Like, but then she did kind of hug Liv and suggest she was kind of moving on from that. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Unless they do Ronda versus Charlotte again.
Oh, not again. No, please.
Well, they're doing
no.
Brock and Roman again, so you never know. I'm not advocating
at least
for it.
Brock and Roman was quite interesting. Charlotte
was
Ronda.
interesting.
Yeah. To be honest,
No, from what I've heard, I
Having a
think
night- having a
Charlotte's going
nightmare,
for the
aren't they?
title. So I think it'll be Charlotte and Liv. I don't know what Ronda's going to do.
No. But Liv and Belair won that tag team match probably as expected anyway.
Yeah, it was a decent little
Yep.
match, and I quite like the babyface champions teaming up. I think that's quite a good idea. You don't get to see that very often either because they're obviously normally on separate brands.
Yeah.
It'd be a real shame if there were some tag team champions they could have on there to team up and fight in tag team matches, wouldn't it? It would be a real shame.
Tag titles gone.
Yeah, I think they're
Gone.
do you think they've got them? They've just not said anything about them.
well, yeah. The fact they haven't said anything about them for me suggests they're just going to retire them quietly.
Yeah, it's very
Or at
strange
least for
to
a
not
long
mention them for like 2 months. It does feel a bit odd. Or however long it's been.
I guess they're
feel
probably
like-
trying to figure out whether they were going to get Sasha and Naomi back, but it's too long now. So
Yeah. Who knows with that one? One tag team that aren't gone is Judgment Day. They are still
Not yet.
knocking about. Had a match with the Mysterios. That's obviously their next feud. They've moved on from well, Edge isn't there anymore, but they've moved on from AJ and Liv or whoever else. And lost to Mysterios by DQ, where Ray did the old Eddie Guerrero spot of pretending to be hit by a steel chair. And this kind of finish always annoys me because the amount of times you hear a massive steel chair thud and the referee doesn't do anything. And then in these moments, there's no sound and the referee decides to DQ despite not seeing anything. It kind of makes a mockery of the rules.
It's annoying, isn't it?
It is.
It is. I like the fact it's Ray because these things I've seen other people try and do these things, and I'm like, yeah, I like the fact it's Ray doing it because obviously Ray, the connection with Eddie Guerrero.
Do you want your babyface to be doing this move?
Well,
Because
Eddie
Guerrero
Guerrero-
did it as a heel.
No, he did it as a babyface a lot.
Okay.
It was like a lovable. His whole lie, cheat, steal babyface was a babyface thing for a long time. Like it got over as it could be a heel or a face, I think. But yeah, it was a weird thing, but it can work as either. But my more problem with this was more the fact that Judgment Day just losing. I know it's by DQ and it was a silly finish, but like what is?
They don't feel like a
what
big
is
deal,
this?
do they? But they do
No,
not feel
no.
like anything important.
I was thinking,
Not like
okay,
it
great,
was
they've
with
got a
Edge.
match. We've got their first tag team match together, Finn and Priest. Match against Mysterios can be a really good match. They can win. Maybe an angle afterwards, set up another match, whatever.
Well, they did beat him down after the match.
They did. They
So-
looked really strong afterwards. At least they did do that with the backstage.
We're going to get
beat
another
down.
match down the line.
And I'm sure they'll probably win the next one. But I don't know. They've ruined it, haven't they?
Yeah, unfortunately, and I think Rhea's injury is a big part of that. Because I think they would have been on TV and quite prominent if she hadn't got injured in the build-up and on Money in the Bank. But there we are.
It's mad because they take them off TV. Why do they need to take Rhea off TV? I don't get it. Why can't you just come cut promos?
Yeah, I know.
Or
I
just
know.
walk around with them? It makes no sense.
So often people get injured and they just think, okay, that's it. They can't do anything. And I always bring it back to this, but Brett Baker, she was injured for a year and she's on TV most weeks just doing stuff. You can still do stuff injured. I don't think you have to be off TV for long periods, especially if it's not a long-term injury, which I don't think Rhea's is. I don't know why you couldn't have a. Again, I still find it weird that Judgment Day haven't spoke about her being injured or not getting that title match that she was due. All we got was Belair saying it, and that was it. Nothing from Rhea, nothing from Judgment Day. Always thought that was a bit of an odd way to announce that for me. But yeah, I mean, let's hope the Judgment Day aren't as ruined as we think they are. Hope they've got plans for them, but it's not looking good,
They
is
bring
it?
Edge back.
Well, Edge coming
Yeah.
back might help them because obviously Edge is going to come after them, right? There's got to be
Yeah.
the plan. So I'm assuming you're going to have a big build for SummerSlam of Edge versus Balor or Edge versus Priest, that'll be a big match for them. Like they're probably not going to win, but at least it's a big storyline.
Yeah.
But they should be built until that. They should have been tearing through people
Yeah.
for the last 2-3 weeks since Edge has been gone, and they just haven't done anything with them. That's the issue, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that is the issue. Yeah. I forgot to mention actually that Alexa Bliss has also said she wants the Raw Women's title. She mentioned that backstage as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the women's division.
I guess it's good for someone like Alexa to be mentioning the title. Even if she's not actually doing anything currently, it's just nice to know that she's still thought of a bit in the title picture. And we also got The Miz respond to Logan Paul and has asked him to retract the match for SummerSlam, which obviously isn't going to happen. But
no, and The Miz
Interesting.
has got a new confirmed proper ally finally as well. We've finally
Yeah.
seen that.
yeah, so
I've been
is
saying
that
for weeks that they're
confirmed?
linked, but yeah, it's suggested on this show that him and Ciampa
Yeah.
are teaming together.
Yeah, I mean the WWE website says with The Miz seemingly bringing Ciampa under his wing. So
Yeah, so obviously there was a match, wasn't there? It was
AJ and The Miz.
AJ and Miz again. They've had a couple recently.
Yep.
And the match itself, there wasn't a lot to it, if I remember rightly. I'm trying to find out my notes.
Yeah, not much. AJ got the
AJ win with a phenomenal form. Yeah, because last week Miz walked off, didn't he? He just got counted out. So here we got AJ did get a win, but then Ciampa attacked Styles afterwards. Styles turned it around, went to hit the Styles Clash, but then the Miz came in with a skull crushing finale. And Miz and Ciampa afterwards shook hands and were just sort of stood over him. So we've been suspecting it for a while that Ciampa was linked, because I kept saying Ciampa's interfering every time time he's interfering, it's linked to the Miz. And the commentary weren't playing it up that much, but now it's official. At least it gives Ciampa something to do. And to be with the Miz.
Who would have thought with the Miz was what he'd be doing on the main roster, Ciampa?
I would never have
NXT
predicted
champion.
it, but
Yeah.
I don't hate it because
I'm willing to see what happens. Let's just see. I'm not going to judge it too much yet. It's early days. Could be
as
good.
long as they don't John Morrison in, we're all right.
Yeah, we thought he was going to Judgment Day at one point, but here we go.
I would have preferred that, but maybe
Yeah.
not now if this is what Judgment Day is going to be. So
We also got Seth freaking Rollins on the show. He had a match against Ezekiel.
a rare one-on-one match on
Yeah,
Raw.
I was
Never matches on Raw these days.
zeked up for this one. Were you guys zeked up?
I was Zekin Rawlins up for this.
It's a
set up at the party thing
Yeah.
earlier, wasn't it?
good enough match. Yeah, because he
That bit was
sprayed
funny.
does
I thought that was
ketchup
going to be
on him.
Owens because firstly, obviously Ezekiel and Owens feuding, but also, do you remember that segment from a few years ago on the same kind of thing, where Owens got the pie in the face, and we never found out who did it? I thought it was going to be
I don't
a
remember
repeat
that.
of that spot, basically, but with the
Max
bottle
Fisher
instead.
there, remembering someone getting a pie to the face.
It's really, for some reason, it's really talked about like online still. People always go, I wonder who that actually was that threw the pie in Kevin Owens' face.
I'm not talking to the right people.
And but yeah, so it was Rollins, and then that led to Rollins obviously.
What a
winning the match.
conversation.
And the match was, I thought the match was quite good actually.
Yeah, well, do you know what? It was a fresh matchup,
Yeah.
which was good. Seth got
Ezekiel dominated a lot of it, weirdly.
but Seth got a
Cheeky
clear win. Stomp went for
He
more
needed that.
damage.
He needed that big. I know he won. Obviously, he got him Money in the Bank. He's lost a lot to Cody. But
Yeah.
to him to just sort of get, he needs to build up some wins just on Raw, like just have him beat. Because I don't know who's going to win out of him and Riddle, because that's where the feud's going.
Well, yeah, they have Riddle come out at the end and RKO'd him.
Yeah, Riddle RKO'd him
doing the Randy Orton spot.
Yeah,
Riddle. That's what we're getting at SummerSlam.
What
I'm
happens
guessing.
when Randy comes back? Riddle surely can't just keep mimicking him.
I don't know if what they got planned for Randy when he comes back.
I think they might.
They'll go back to RK Bro, won't they? Of course they will. But
They'll go back to RKO briefly, but I think they might end up feuding.
Yeah,
depends when he returns, because apparently he's out for the rest of 2022. So you can build that up for the Rumble. Maybe Orton can return to the Rumble, help Riddle in the Rumble, but then maybe either eliminates him or they later down the line split before Mania. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. There isn't much else from the show other than the main event. I don't know if you wanted to mention the main event, Krusty.
I sure do want to mention that main event. So this is my top mark of this week. We had Asuka versus Becky in a no holds barred match, I believe the stipulation was. And this was a corker. To be fair, I wasn't expecting this on Raw. It was actually decent. I thought surely they're not going to let somebody win here. Something's going to happen. But no, the match was brilliant. There was chairs involved. There was quite a cool spot where Asuka hip attacked. That's what they call it,
yeah,
isn't it? The hip attack. I always call it like the bum attack, but that's not right, is it?
Running bum.
Yeah. We brought up Fish's old nickname.
Yeah.
Hip attack into Becky, who was holding a chair for some reason in front of her face. I don't know why, and then straight through the barricade. That barricade needs some reinforcement, that's for sure.
It does. It's poor, isn't it?
It's been ruined multiple times. But yeah, then we actually got, a clean finish. It was a clean finish for a no holds barred.
Pretty cool finish.
I loved it. With Becky manhandle slamming Asuka through a table off the turnbuckle. So this was cool. Just real spot on match. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think we also got the green mist attempt from Asuka again.
I love this spot with the umbrella.
Yeah, I don't know if Becky stole the umbrella off her and
I love
blocked the green mist.
Because Asuka gets the umbrella from under the ring. I was thinking, well, what's she going to do with that?
Yeah.
And Becky takes it off her. She uses the mist and Becky blocks it. I thought that was a really clever spot.
Great.
Yeah.
Good to see that denied, because normally that sort of ends it, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's another spot for
Becky
a face. I'm never sure on a face doing a mist
that
spot.
is odd. Yeah.
I do agree with you on that one. That one is, it's...
Because I remember it being Tajiri back in the day in like 2000s, and he only did it when he turned heel. It was like how he turned heel was doing the mist. I think there's been faces that have done a mist in the past, but it's a weird face spot, I think, green mist. So it's quite clearly cheating. Yeah. Anything else from Raw, guys?
Don't know. Don't know what else. That match. Not a lot else to say about that match, really. It was really good though. Good top mark. I didn't have a top mark really. I hadn't thought about them. Yeah, that might have been my favorite thing from WWE TV, to be honest.
Maybe we give it a triple top mark this week.
There might be something from NXT when I come to it, but
look at
that. Yeah, I thought that match was really good. They gave it just as a random side note. Actually, I saw earlier. I think Asuka has wrestled 5 or 6 matches as a Raw main event since she's come back in 2 months. So it's like there's been like 9 Raws in that time. She's main evented it like 6 times. That's impressive. And I believe the last time Raw men main evented with a match was like an 8-man tag that Cody was in.
Really? That's insane. But I mean,
the women have been carrying Raw recently.
I just think it's
Becky,
really good
Asuka
indication.
Mainly.
I mean, we did get that Lashley Theory weird segment that main evented Raw.
No, that shouldn't have main evented.
Which was a joke.
That was a skid mark.
But other than that, it's basically been women's matches main eventing, and mainly Asuka and Becky.
It's really good. I really enjoy it, but it also shows how damaging it is to not have your main title.
Becky's their biggest star on Raw currently. She's the biggest star. So you put her in main events, don't you?
And at least it has been the Raw women's title spin. So you've still got a major title, although this wasn't for them. Obviously.
Yeah, this was really
neither of them are now
just a grudge. It's a grudge match. We also got just remember one thing from Raw. We got a new commentator for 1 week only, maybe. I don't know. Kevin Smith wasn't there. Jimmy Smith. I literally don't remember his name. Jimmy Smith wasn't there. And Kevin Patrick Do you guys have any thoughts on Kevin Patrick's performance?
No, I did write down that I had barely noticed the difference, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
I
I
think for
thought
Kevin.
maybe I'd missed it another week.
No, they mentioned at the start of the show. They said Jimmy Smith's not here this week and Kevin Patrick's.
Yeah, I wrote it
did
down
really
straight
well.
away, and then by the end of the show,
Do you think it means anything? Do you reckon they've adnan-verked Jimmy Smith?
No, I think he had it said he had a vacation. He obviously had a day off for some reason. If he's not there next week, then yeah, start worrying about.
Michael Cole doesn't have days off.
Michael Cole's Michael Cole, isn't he? Corey Graves has had time off before. Pat McAfee missed the show a few weeks ago. It happens.
Yeah, Michael Cole doesn't.
But yeah, I didn't notice the difference.
This is WWE HR there.
Yes, he has the
holiday calendar out in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, he does present other things. I think he still does UFC stuff and that. So like maybe he had a prior engagement months ago that, who knows?
Yeah.
But I thought KP
now
there
and again to sub people in and out.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a different subject, but AEW have been doing that really well with JR now.
Yeah.
If you've noticed, he used to be on all the shows all
Comes
the
in for the
time,
second half,
and now
doesn't he?
they come in. He comes in for a couple of matches, and I think he does better because I think over a whole show he starts making more mistakes.
He also
gets a
gets
bit
more
burnt out.
annoyed, doesn't he? You can tell
Yeah.
JR's annoyed.
I think it's better to bring him in for the big matches.
He does.
I like also seeing his music when he enters.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that's the reason they do it for the pop. Don't they? They do it for the old pop. I actually personally, I was last one of the commentators. I think 3 men's too much for a commentary booth. I think 2 is plenty.
I'm so used to 3 now, though. Like
Yeah, but Cole and
AEW
McAfee
sometimes
are
has
great.
4. Like,
What if we think 3's too many for a podcast?
Oh,
no, 2 works fine if they're good commentators. 3 can work fine. Any more than that, it's ridiculous. I remember AEW's had 4 and 5 at times.
yeah, well, AW just throw everyone
and then
out, don't they?
that's when it gets too much because then I'm just getting confused. And at least one of them then adds nothing to the party.
Yeah, I'm a 2-man myself. I like Cole and McAfee and
NXT's
JR
been
and
NXT's got 2 man.
yeah, NXT. I
right.
think you know.
JR
Speaking
and
of-
Jerry the King.
Yeah, JR, Jerry the King. All the classics have 2. Cole and Jerry the King. Anyway, that's the side note. Let's move
Fisher
on
and
to
Krusty. Sorry.
Keeney and Fisher. All right, let's move on.
All right, let's finish off then. Keeney and Krusty.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. NXT Great American Bash. Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was I
Surprises.
dunno. It was a decent
Yeah.
show. It didn't feel like necessarily like a special. I actually forgot it was like a special, other than the fact that obviously you had the NXT title being defended and stuff. But what you
Yeah.
did get was new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions,
You did to open
which
up the show.
I said last week they were not going to win. So I'm glad we didn't do predictions for this.
Yeah, this was a bit of a surprise, I think. Cora and Roxanne, with Roxanne still having that contract for the main title as well. Interesting that they are the tag champs. I mean, I'm not massively against
Are we
it
getting
because
Roxy 2 belts?
I don't know if is she ready for Roxy 2
I
belts?
know. I think it'd be too
surely
much.
not.
No, that's why I predicted them to lose because I thought then it
both
made
of
it kind of
them
obvious.
are too weak to be on their own. So this is a perfect opportunity together.
Yeah.
I think they prop each other up really well. I noticed Cora even made a blunder right at the end of the match.
Well, we love a Cora Jade dig on this show, don't we?
No. No, I think she's improving, but the only reason
I didn't even notice.
is I think they both need each other to be.
I actually don't think
perfect.
Roxanne does need her, but
I think in ring she's spot on.
but I
but
think
maybe on the microphone and the appeal at the moment might
I
not be
think
there.
they are both very young and they've got long careers ahead of them. So I don't think rushing them into the title scene necessarily helps because then what do you do with them? If they win that, then you get called up. They might get lost on the main roster. So I actually think keeping them in NXT for 2-3 years, have them win the tag titles.
Yeah, there's a lot of
feud
NXT
against each
talent.
other. I've heard rumors of Cora Jade turning heel, which would be really weird.
Yeah, I'm
if-
not ready for that.
I reckon that will happen after, obviously, God knows how long they're going to have them tag titles for, but I can see
And then they'll
Cora
split.
turns on Roxanne. You can
That
have
could
them
be cool.
feud for a while. Then one of them can become champion down the line. Like you don't need to rush it.
I think they've
that's,
got a brilliant future. I really do.
They do, and the finisher
Yeah.
was called Pop Rocks.
That
Did you
was
know
quite
that?
cool.
I didn't know that until this
Is that
show.
a code?
yeah.
It's a code red, isn't it?
It's basically a
Yeah.
code red, yeah.
She hit it quite well, and
Or a destroyer?
got
right?
the 3 count.
Yeah, so
Good.
Mandy got sent to the back, didn't she? In this, and then obviously later on, Roxanne challenged her for next week because she's feeling very confident.
Yeah.
And that was it. But yeah, cool to see a title change. Didn't expect it.
Yeah, we also got 3 other title matches on this show.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
you might
I
as
said it
well-
didn't feel like a big show, but you did get a lot.
It's 4 in all. Basically, all the titles on NXT. We got the
Apart
North
from the women's,
American title. Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller, with Carmelo Hayes retaining. Probably the right decision. And interesting end where Wesley came out to like take out Trick Williams.
Yeah.
As Waller's on the outside, about to hit his finisher where he rolls into the ring, and he kind of like shrugged and then did his thing, and then Carmelo caught him and got the victory from that.
Yeah, because they had a Trick and Wesley had a match earlier on in the night, didn't they?
Yes.
And then this played into that. So I thought they did well with the finish. I thought this match was pretty good. Melee matches are always great. Grayson Waller's good as well. It was the right decision for him to win the title, and then just move on to something else because
it's a bit of a weird title match, really. Too like
it's
two of
like
the biggest
heels.
heels on NXT.
But I feel like it was just there to set up Wesley. I think is going to be the next challenger for Carmelo, based on he'll have a match with Trick, beat Trick, and then you'll get Wesley versus Carmelo, which will, as you rightly say, I think will be a bang over match.
It will. But Wesley did lose the Trick, by the way.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? But it wasn't clean.
So yeah, they commentators said he rubbed alcohol.
Yeah, I thought
his eyes.
He took out Wesley's
They said
contact
it
lenses or
smells
something.
of alcohol or something, didn't they?
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
they-
like that bit.
No.
So it's called an unknown liquid on WWE's website. An unknown liquid went into
That is
Wesley's
such
eye.
WWE verbiage. That
Yeah, I
is.
know.
God's sake.
I went into
So,
Wesley's eyes
some unknown liquid and had to be escorted to a local medical facility.
from parts unknown. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So unknown liquid in Wesley's eye, and then Trick got the win off the back of that.
Yeah, and they used this. Obviously, they used it in AEW, didn't they? In the Blood and Guts match, literally last week. Tay Conti put the. Oh, sorry. I just realised Chris doesn't actually watch this yet. I just realised, but yeah. So it's not exactly a major spot. It's not exactly a major thing, but yeah, they use.
Conti had some unknown liquid, Krusty.
Yeah, some unknown liquid, and they use it in the match. So it's not a major. It's not a major spoiler, but yeah, in a Blood and Guts match, they use rubbing alcohol, and they've done it once before in AEW previously, I think, as well. So it's not something I've seen in WWE in a long time, but I did think, that's a bit soon after AEW did it as well.
Soon, yeah, if that's the
Literally
case.
last week on Blood and Guts.
That didn't really cross my mind actually. But yeah, good.
It's just weird because I've not seen it on WWE TV before. They probably did it years ago.
So we also got a tag team title match, the Diamond Mine Derby, Creed Brothers against Strong and Kemp.
Did they call it? They didn't call it that.
No, I'm
did
calling
they?
it that.
That's what Keeney's
They
called.
should
I'm calling it Diamond Mine Derby. I know that's more
yeah,
like
they had
a UK speak, isn't it?
Yeah, segment before the match, didn't they? With doing the fist bump backstage, which Roddy Strong just ignored completely.
They're still hanging on to Big Rod, didn't they?
Yeah, and Creed Brothers got the win here.
Yeah.
And they all afterwards, after the match, seemed all friendly, apart from Roddy, who walked off. So again, this is a very AW style slow build to this breakup because this has been going on for a long time, Roddy. But I assumed this would be the blow off and something would happen here, but nothing happened. I wonder where it's going and what's going to happen to Roddy, whether he just, they write him off or whether he does something else or starts a new faction or moves up. There's a lot that Roddy could do, I think, right now. He's in a spot where I think the world's his oyster, really. I think he can do a lot of things from this position, but I'm intrigued. I think we all assume he's going to AEW. I think that's the assumption. Because he's
it's weird though because are WWE going to? They didn't grant him the release. Are they going to just keep him there and have him working in NXT?
Well, he's a good worker.
He signed a new contract like last year, so he's not running out anytime soon. So I know we say he's going to go to AEW, but it could be 2 years away. He could just be kept in. I mean, he'll stagnate completely, and it'll be a waste.
It'll be the new Cassius Ohno of NXT, just in there forever.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Cassius Ohno. Sorry.
What did you make of this match, Krusty?
I've distracted myself now by singing Cassius Ono. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I really rate Creed Brothers, and I think Roddy Strong is spot on. I almost wish I didn't know he wanted to leave, because it always puts that little niggle in my head of, oh, is this his last match? Or is he going to go now? It's a shame, because this storyline is actually really, really good. But I always think it's because he's going to get kicked out. But I've thought that for like 2 months now. But
it's been going on a long time. And like I say, I think sometimes, they're great. I think sometimes knowing too much is actually a hindrance to watching the show sometimes. It's almost better if you know nothing and then you just
wrestling is better when you don't know much, to be honest, because
all the best moments are when something.
There's not as many surprises and things.
Yeah. Yes, I think. We also got the NXT title in the main event. Bron Breakker and Cameron Grimes. So should we just talk about the match first before we get on to
I'm just sat here like thinking, carry up and talk about the match.
After the match.
I know you want to talk about after it. I know.
They played up Breakker's shoulder, which I said last week was quite a brutal shoulder into the turnbuckle. I know it obviously was meant to come out as all, but he hit it with some force. So he didn't hold back on that. So they played into that a lot. He actually kicked out of a cave in as well.
I was going to say, Grimes got a lot of offense in, and he got his finisher in.
Yeah, it was a good showing of Grimes.
Has anyone ever kicked out of that?
I've not seen
anyone kick out of the cave in.
I think it's been pretty protected.
It's one of my favourite finishes as well. I love a cave in. I don't know, it's just such a cool, unique finisher. You don't really see it very often, but yeah, very cool. But Breakker got the win with a mid-air spear.
Yeah.
As Grimes jumped off for a splash.
That was just after the cave in. I think it was a bit of desperation, up top right, gets caught out.
Love a mid-air spear.
Quite like that finish.
Yeah, very good finish. I think it was a good match overall, actually. Probably
it was a good match. It wasn't anything amazing, but it was
much better than his one with or one or two with Gacy had.
Before we move on, what do we think happens to Grimes now?
I would move him up. I don't know what else he's got to do in NXT now. He's won the North American title. He's been heel. He's been face. He's done stupid storylines. He's been in the title picture. Other than being in a tag team, I don't know what else he can do in NXT.
No, I think I agree with you.
I would move.
I do agree with you, but I don't know what he'd do on the main roster either.
I have a thought of where he could go. Someone he's worked with before. I think you put him with Max Dupree.
Maximum male models.
I think you cut his hair again, like they did.
Shave his chest.
Yeah, and I think put him in there. I think he could be quite funny. You could have quite a good storyline where he's like sort of not. He doesn't want to do it, but he is doing it, and then you bring out his NXT character again. I think could be quite over on the main roster.
Maybe I don't know.
I've flipped and flopped on Grimes on the main roster. I thought for a while he would be a 24/7 shoe-in, but I actually think I'm starting to think he could actually do something quite good on the main roster. So I think he could be someone who gets a fair bit. I'm going to compare him now to someone, but he's not going to be this level, I don't think. But I reckon like a Sami Zayn type figure, Cameron Grimes. I think he could do that as a heel, as a face. He could take up a lot of TV time with promos, segments. He's pretty good at all that sort of stuff. He's a very good in-ring wrestler as well. I just think he could I reckon he could reach to Sami Zayn levels if used right. I think
you go full redneck with him. I think you make his gimmick way over.
I mean Vince probably would. Yeah,
and I think he could be quite funny, like a mild Cactus Jack style or something like that.
Godfish, who are you going to compare him to?
I don't know. I'm just sitting thinking. I'm not sure, honestly. Like his current, he's only just changed his character, so I wouldn't want him to change again too quick because I don't think it matters when he
goes up to the main roster. Though.
No, if he goes up, then yeah.
Look at LA Knight.
I don't think he will get called up just yet. I don't think he will. I don't know why. I agree with you. He hasn't got anything else really to do in NXT, but I just don't know if he's going to get called up right now.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think the main roster right now is thinking about call ups. To be honest, I think they're using the people they've got.
Yeah,
there might be one or two.
Right decision. Yeah,
I think there's some people that they've got their eyes on. Maybe some of the 2.0 guys who are newer.
Yeah, well, I guess Grimes is more of the older school of NXT. He was there before. He's in the black and gold, and he's. In the past few months, he's put over Carmelo Hayes and Bron Breakker, who are the two biggest rising stars. I feel like that's maybe something you do on your way out.
I hope he's not on his way out, but yeah.
No, in terms of
it wouldn't
out
surprise
of
me.
NXT, not out of WWE.
Yeah.
They'd be mad to get rid of him. I think he's too talented to get rid of. But yeah, I for me, I would call him up to main roster now. I'd have him debut on SmackDown or Raw this week, just straight away, get him up there. I don't know what spot I'd put him in. I don't know whether I put him as a face or a heel. I have no idea what I'd do with him, but I would just put him up. I think he's done for the NXT. But should talk about someone who's not done an NXT and has actually just arrived or re-arrived, as he was a cruiserweight champion at one point. JD McDonough, aka Jordan Devlin. Krusty, I know
What
you're
an entrance.
itching. Yeah.
What an entrance. I mean, if you want someone to be pushed into the limelight, you do this, don't you? And what are they calling his finisher now? So straight away, Devil Inside is what it was called. And this was just cool. And I've always been worried about Devlin being able to throw about a bigger guy. You don't get too much bigger than Bron Breakker. And
he launched it, didn't he?
He did.
Breakker really sold this. But yeah, he went miles through that table. What an awesome entrance, and bang, straight into the main picture.
Yeah, very.
We've had one or two car-based.
We got one on this show where he said, "I'll see you next week."
Well, yeah, that's what I really liked actually, because I really didn't expect him at the end.
No,
because they said see you next week. I thought, okay, he's going to come next week and either attack someone or have a match. So I just thought, oh, Bron Breakker's won. I thought maybe we'll get an angle here, or maybe that'll be the end of the show. But yeah, I really didn't expect him to turn up here. And for him to be straight in the title feud is awesome.
That's cool. And I think he can do it. He's firing the mic, he's firing the ring.
He's so good. I think I said to you guys, I said on this pod before, I think he's someone who could have just bypassed NXT. I think he was good enough to go from UK to main roster. I think he's that good. I think, I know you're probably bigger than I am on him, Krusty. I know you're a big fan, but I think sky's the limit for Devlin. I think he could sit in a mid-card, top mid-card spot on the main roster, Devlin, right now, or McDonough, whatever you want to call him.
I just feel like I always look at him when I think of going on the main roster. I always just think like they're just going to think, oh, it's Finn Balor. They're just be like, is that Finn Balor? Oh no, it's this other guy. That's what they're going to be like.
Quite heavily though, I think, which helps him look different. He's grown it out, hasn't he? It's a lot longer.
It is a bit longer, yeah. But he's but yeah, I mean, for what.
That would be my worry if he got called up. I just feel
he could just be a serious heel though. He's just got that look about him. He could be a real nasty heel, I think.
And again, he's got a really cool finisher, the Devlin Inside, whatever it's called, or I don't know what it's called now.
Madonna Inside.
Yeah, the McDonough kebab. He hit it lovely, didn't he? He hits it so well.
No, it was a great angle to win the show through the table. He launched him, like you said. It was really good and really interesting
to see that, and I can't wait to see the mic work from both of them. I think it's just going to be awesome. I really do think it's going to be good. It's leagues above what we've just had with
Gacy.
But I think the Grime stuff was all right.
Yeah, the Grime stuff was fine. Yeah, the Grime stuff was fine. It felt like a filler feud, but this will feel like a bigger feud, I think.
And it's interesting to see how, are we thinking McDonough can win the NXT title? Are we thinking
it wouldn't shock me
if you want to push Bron up? Then
again, I mean, Bron's going to get called up sooner or later, isn't he? I think wait a little bit with Bron.
I would wait till after Mania for Bron.
At least I would wait until at least a Royal Rumble, and maybe after Mania, maybe at least a Royal Rumble.
I think a Royal Rumble call up. You could show him off and get him eliminate 3 or 4 people. Create a feud out of that and give him a lower card match at Mania.
Yeah, exactly. I think you could easily do that. I think that would work really well.
There's a couple more bits from NXT.
Yeah, there's quite a few. So, do you want to speak about another new arrival? Well,
no, you go ahead.
Re-arrival. So we had JBD McDonough, and then we also had Axiom.
Oh yeah, breaking stuff that into equations.
So this is A-Kid, right? It's A-Kid.
Yeah.
Who's been got? I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah, he was one I thought. Have they already given up on A-Kid? Like he got called up, had like 2 matches, and then has never been seen on TV again. I thought I think he just finished with A-Kid already, but they're calling him Axiom and giving him a academic gimmick, which is what they've done with what's that female.
Kiana James.
Kiana James.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, is he going to be like?
Or even like Andre Chase is a bit similar. There's a lot of like academic-y type gimmicks on NXT currently. It feels like he didn't really need to do this. That being said, A-Kid was probably the most basic gimmick in wrestling history. He's literally called a kid, and there's nothing about him. So the fact that he has something now, I guess, and I think his name did need change. I think A-Kid was a terrible name for a wrestler. Personally, I think it's one of the worst they've ever come up with. So I'm not saying Axiom's any better.
A-Kid.
If I some shots, I've had my gun loaded for a while. Finally, I can unload on A-Kid.
He is good, but I just don't.
He's a very good wrestler, but I just think the name and gimmick was nothing. But who knows? Axiom's a weird name, but it might work.
There was also something else on the show. I don't even know if you would have noticed it, but it was like there was this weird thing, and it was like scan me, and it was a QR code.
Yes, I did. I did scan that. I didn't,
but apparently it was some.
It was just a black screen with a date.
A date
the
on
date
it.
was from like 2012 or something. So it was like 10 years ago.
So
it was like 8 or 11, 8, 2012.
I'm curious. I'm just really curious as to what that was. I have no idea.
It's like a 10-year. Is there anyone who was on NXT 10 years ago who could come back? That's the only thing I can think.
It's like
but if it's like a 10-year, because it's basically the 11th of August, so we've got about a month. I wonder if it's going to keep coming up for the next month.
Yeah, we'll soon see. But
I think it said 20. Again, I don't know that date by heart. I've just said that off. It might not be 8th of the 11th, but I think it said 2012 at the end. And so I can't
remember.
All I can think of it's like a 10-year anniversary of something. And I just wonder if someone's last match on NXT was 10 years ago and they're coming back, or I don't know. It's all I can think of. Because the date's in the past, so it doesn't make sense.
It was really random. It was really random, but I just thought it was worth noting.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Anything else? There's a couple of other things.
There is some other wrestling. Well, there's one other wrestling match, I think. Wendy Chu lost to Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton impresses me every time.
Yeah,
I'm so glad she beat Wendy.
I'll be surprised if Vince hasn't noticed her and is like thinking about.
She's so good in ring.
She kind of is, similar to a lot of the main roster talent, I guess. But she's very good in ring. Tiffany Stratton. She's one of the better.
She's improving, I think. I wasn't that impressed with her the first couple of matches, but I think she's getting better all the time, and she has a couple of really flashy moves, which I think helps.
Yeah, that finish is awesome.
Yeah, the finish is really good. She's really like I don't know what the word is, but I guess it's like agility, isn't it? Like
she is very good.
Very athletic,
She's clearly a very good gymnast that's turned into a wrestler, kind of. You can tell that.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of done with Wendy Chu.
Yeah,
I've completely lost interest.
I still
in
like
her now.
Wendy Chu.
I did like her. Now I'm gone. It's too much for me now.
That's the problem with these gimmicks that are a bit too heavy and funny.
There's a shelf life to them, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
And for me, Wendy Chu's expiry date is just past.
Yeah, there was one other segment I think worth mentioning. Actually,
was it Cruz and
Apollo Crews? Yeah. So it's the first time he's been in the ring for a while in a segment, and it's set up a feud here with a match at least with Giovanni Vinci, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I really like Giovanni. The best athlete, wasn't they? Which is quite interesting because we know how awesome
they're both really good. Yeah.
They are. Yeah.
I'm curious as to who wins as well, because Apollo feels like he should win, but Giovanni Vinci hasn't he just come in with this gimmick? So I think Apollo will beat him. But yeah, it's an interesting, certainly an interesting feud.
I'm excited for that match.
With. Yeah, it will be a good one. Nice to see Vinci on the mic. I haven't heard him on the mic too much. Like even in Imperium, I feel like it's more Bartel who spoke.
Yeah, it was. And then there was also the other thing I was going to mention was Solo Sikoa and Von Wagner. So I have no interest in Von Wagner, but I like Solo Sikoa. So,
that's I mean, I've got nothing else to add to that. Personally, I was just going to mention a few other segments on the show. Andre Chase and Chase U are coming to London. Are they coming to NXT UK? Are they? They're coming to London apparently.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just thought the acting in this was not good.
I mean, it's what it is. I mean, I just love Andre Chase swearing at people, kicking out of his
I like
class.
it. I like that bit.
I always find it funny. I don't know why it's still funny to me. Ivy Nile broke up a backstage argument with Tatum Paxley and
so I think we're getting a tag
Katana and Casey. What's the name? Caden, whatever their names are.
I keep
those
doing that. Katana and Casey. That's both
those two. So I thought about Tatum Paxley even existed. So it's nice she's still kind of that again, very low key, long term storyline of Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley, which has been going on for like months. But going back to that, Tony D'Angelo and Legado del Fantasma backstage. He randomly praised Elektra Lopez.
I thought that was an odd bit.
As being like the one person who's pulled her weight around. And then he basically intimated as if they were all still part of D'Angelo. I assumed they'd broken up after the kind of betrayal the other week, but yeah.
No, doesn't look like it. But Santos in hospital or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He sent pictures of him in hospital. I mean, he also said about how he murdered 2 dimes. He also
the week before he literally murdered 2 dimes.
Literally mentioned that again. He's like 2 dimes, isn't it? All right. Pretty Deadly did a weird promo segment where I don't know who they were. I called him out there, but they did.
It was Brooks and Jensen, wasn't it?
Brooks and Jensen.
They want the NXT UK tag team titles.
Yeah, so there's a lot of
it's so weird. It's still weird that they put
NXT.
those titles. It's still very weird to me that.
Yeah, that is a weird one. Spoiler there, Krusty. Brooks and Jensen, NXT UK tag team champions.
Thanks.
Well, it was on it. I thought you would have known because it was on it. They were on NXT, so
yeah, they were, but they just appeared with the NXT UK
to me.
belts.
I mean, it's not something that I'm.
It's proper random.
It is strange, but I guess it's trying to draw maybe a bit of.
Well, I wonder whether they're just going to end up merging them back with NXT because they're taking a lot of NXT UK guys to NXT guys to NXT UK recently. There's been a lot. Like Roderick Strong did it. There's just
split up a few. NXT UK tag teams as well,
yeah, so. And I just think in NXT UK, I mean, most of their top stars they've moved up now, like Devlin, A-Kid, obviously Doudrop before, Kaylee Ray. So they've moved a lot of them up. So I wonder whether they'll just give up with NXT UK. So I almost wonder if they need NXT UK anymore because it can't be doing much for them, viewership wise.
No, it doesn't do a lot, no.
No. So I wonder whether that's the future for NXT. Oh, speaking of guys, they called that Pretty Deadly, of course. Another ones.
Yeah.
And that I think is all the segments.
Yeah, I think we covered everything there, more than we actually needed to, probably.
Yeah.
Full-blown NXT review for you all.
Yeah, so that is the week in WWE. Like I said, or Fisher said at the start, if you haven't listened to our AEW weekly review, check that out in your podcast streams. If you search for Recharge Wrestling, anywhere you get your podcasts. Also on our YouTube channel, it's just search Recharge Wrestling, where you can see this if you're not already watching it on YouTube. It's probably good you do watch it so you can all of the comments about our appearance earlier can make some more sense rather than an audio. So yeah, check out our YouTube, like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your family, tell everyone about us. And follow us on Twitter at Recharge Wrestle, where we tweet out everything we do on YouTube anyway, so you don't miss anything there. So I think that's it for this week, and we will catch you same time next week. See you later.
See ya.
Goodbye.